A very good morning to you, dear listener, and welcome to Perspectives, a current affairs discussion program on iGate Radio, 95.5 Star FM, Makudi, Benue State. Today on Perspectives, our discussion shall focus on the scourge of fake and substandard products, including drugs, particularly fake and substandard drugs in Nigeria. There have been growing concerns over the menace of fake and substandard drugs and other products, which according to the agency responsible, that's the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, has been growing in recent weeks. And just on the 14th of this month, NAFDAC announced that it has impounded 10 trucks of fake drugs in Anambra market. And of course, last week Friday, NAFDAC also announced the impoundment of about 60 trucks of fake drugs in Lagos. And even as at yesterday, it announced the sealing of over 3,000 shops that are manufacturing fake and substandard drugs in Lagos. What has been the situation in Benue? With this growing concern across the country, are we safe? Is the war against the menace of the war against fake and substandard drugs being won? Is there any hope in sight? Is the health of the people endangered? And what is the situation in Benue State? How can we stay alert? What are the agencies responsible doing to prevent the Benue situation from getting worse? These are the issues we shall try to discuss on this edition of Perspectives. I have been joined here in the studio by analysts who are experts in this area, and they will be sharing thoughts with us. First, I'd like to welcome the State Chairman, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, PSN. Pharmacist Ben Ali is our guest on Perspectives. Welcome to the program, Pharmacist Ali.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, listeners.
We also have the Benue State Officer of the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria, who is also with us on the program, Pharmacist Hawa Nyigba. Welcome to the program, Madam.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me.
We are expecting the Deputy State Coordinator of NAFDAC, Benue State Office, who is on his way to join us, Mr. Moses Ikper. As soon as he's with us in the studio, we'll inform you. I am Nathaniel Nongu, welcoming you to this Monday edition of Perspectives. And if this is your first time tuning into the program, kindly be informed that the program is audience participatory. At 10 o'clock, we allow you, the listener, to phone in and contribute on what we are discussing. The number through which you can reach us is 0814-335-9292. The number, once again, is 0814-335-9292. Meanwhile, you can also participate by sending an SMS or a message to WhatsApp on the number 0912-699-9404. The line for SMS and WhatsApp, once again, is 0912-699-9404. You may log onto our website on www.iGateRadioTV.com to listen to us and access other content of iGate Radio as well. We're available on Radio Garden and on social media platforms where our content is streaming. You may also download the iGate Radio and TV app from Google Play Newspaper. We're available on all these platforms to serve you beyond boundaries. Kindly join us to be a part of this discussion. We'll take a short breather, and once we are back, the discussion begins. Kindly stay with us. welcome back from that break. And let me begin with you, pharmacist Ali. You have been following the trends of major raids in the country, which NAFDAC has announced it has carried out, besting fake drugs, fake and substandard drugs across the country. Are you worried about the situation that is happening in the drug sector currently in the country?
Good morning, dear listeners. And, once more, just thank you for having me here. Of course, every pharmacist should be worried. And as the chairman of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, Benue State branch, I'm quite worried. More so that the negative effect, let me say the effect, it doesn't really have any positive effect besides that those that are peddling the fake drugs and that have got a niche for themselves in the area of fake drugs, they might be the one that will have what you can call a benefit. Otherwise, there is no single benefit in it. And as pharmacists, we are quite worried. And in recent times, we believe strongly that our cries and hues have been heard by the authorities responsible and permitted by law to clamp and regulate such areas. As the discussion goes on, maybe references will be made to areas where interventions are already ongoing in recent time, yes.
Okay. Pharmacist Nyigba, let me have your thoughts. Pharmacy Council of Nigeria is the regulatory body that allows pharmacists to practice. Are you concerned about the practices of pharmacists in?
Thank you very much. The Pharmacy Council is the federal government regulatory agency established by Act number 31 of 2022 and is empowered to regulate and control all aspects of the pharmacy practice. And this includes the pharmacists, the patent medicine vendors, the pharmacy technicians, the sales representatives, and the medical representatives across the length and breadth of Nigeria. We also register and license all the hospitals, the pharmacy premises, and everywhere drugs are being sold. The Pharmacy Council is concerned concerning the issue of fake and substandard drugs and has collaborated with other stakeholders concerning this issue. They include NAFDAC, even the Federal Ministry of Health. There's the National Drug Distribution Guideline that stipulates that medicines should not be sold in the open drug markets, and they have even given deadlines to those who are operating in these open drug markets where majority of the fake and substandard medicines are being found to relocate to new premises that have jointly been inspected by Pharmacy Council and NAFDAC so that they can be properly regulated. Another challenge that we have in Nigeria is the issue of porous borders. And when we talk of the borders, we're talking of both the land and even the waterways. So these are avenues through which fake and substandard medicines get into the country. Majority of medicines in Nigeria today, more than 70%, are imported. and this poses a challenge for us. Thank you.
Okay. We have now been joined here in the studio by the second in command of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC Benue State Office, Moses Ikper. Welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Ikper.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Before you joined us, your co-panelists had just laid a background. Now, if you were here in my opening, I read out some of the major busting of fake and substandard drugs, which NAFDAC has carried out across the country from Lagos, Anambra, Port Harcourt, and several other parts of the country, which has been a growing concern. And recently, your DG, the NAFDAC Director General, even called for death penalty for those who peddle fake and substandard drugs. Help us give us insights into what is the situation currently in the country, and then bring it down to the Benue experience as well.
Okay. The situation in the country currently is that NAFDAC, as an agency that is saddled with the responsibility of fighting to ensure that drugs that are being taken are drugs that are wholesome, that is drugs without issues with them, as it is established. People that are administered drugs that are not proper, or that are not good, that are not in good conditions to be taken as a patient, stay long in hospitals. And there are some other implications of taking fake drugs, so many of them. And as we know, there are some common drugs that are normally fake by people that deal on drugs, which include anti-malarial drugs, you have antibiotics, and so many others. So what NAFDAC is doing currently is to ensure that the drugs that are imported into the country are not drugs that are substandard. There are standard drugs. How do we do it? We do it, one, by way of inspecting companies that produce drugs at the international level, by way of GMP inspection. GMP simple means good manufacturing practices. So NAFDAC staff are selected by the management of NAFDAC to go to countries where companies produce drugs that are meant to be imported to Nigeria, to inspect them on ground, to inspect their facilities and ensure that the facilities they have are standard facilities that are good to produce drugs. That's one. Two, within the country, what we do is that we carry on post-marketing surveillance. What do I mean by post-marketing surveillance? Drugs that are cleared to come into the country and be distributed, to be used among the states in Nigeria or among people of Nigerians. What we do is that pharmacies and PMS outlets that sell these drugs will go from time to time to sample drugs and send them to our laboratories, which are accredited for laboratory analysis. And the study is carried on annually to ensure that the drugs of concern are of good quality, not just quality that can be, can be pushed to us anyhow. So, just like you mentioned recently, marketers, there is no way you can beat them. Most time, drugs that are cleared at the port, sampling at the port in a container. Containers are normally big containers. So what our staff does at the port of entrance of the drug is that when the containers come, they sample them randomly to ensure that what is in the container is what is on the paper as claimed by the importers. But you discover that most time these people will pack something differently and hide it in one corner. Maybe in the course of sampling, you never get to where those things are and you bypass, you clear. Those ones you pick maybe are the genuine ones that they claim they are importing, that kind of a thing. But what we still do is that we still carry on post-marketing surveillance after we clear those products at the port of entrance to ensure that what has come in is the genuine thing that we have cleared at the port.
Okay. Now, the high level announced that it busted 12 truckloads of fake drugs in Lagos. Give us the situation in Benue State where we are. Are we safe with this high volume of fake drugs getting into the country? What is your office?
I think we are safe. We are safe in Benue. If you look at it critically, the reason why this mass volume of fake drugs in Lagos, Onitsha, Aba, and the other places is this. There are facilities in Lagos, there are facilities in Aba, there are facilities in Onitsha that are meant for drug storage, like in a form of store. Now, I'm not talking of pharmacies, shops where they in Shagamu, particularly, I know of one warehouse, very massive. So people in these areas take advantage of this warehouse and import drugs in mass and store them there, where they pick and distribute. Critically here in Benue, we have no major store for massive distribution of drugs in Benue. There is no massive store like that. And with lack of those facilities in the state, have limited the massive distribution, interact with them, the pharmacies, most of them that we interact with them, we discover that most of them buy their drugs either in Onitsha, Lagos, and other places where you have massive facilities that store these drugs. So we don't have it in Benue. They only picked from those places. And what we advise them is that while you are buying, make sure that the product you are buying is a registered product. That's one. Two, make sure that the product you are buying is from a renowned country. You know, there are some companies that just by hearing their name, you know that their products are genuine because they are in the market for a very long time and their products have been tested and confirmed for several years that they are genuine products, that kind of a thing. So I think with this kind of situation around us in Benue, by not having massive kind of storage for drugs, have saved us from the situations of massive fake drugs in Benue.
All right. Now, pharmacist Ali, your members, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, you dispense drugs to the public. And as stated by NAFDAC, you patronize from these major places where NAFDAC is busting fake and substandard drugs. What are you doing to protect Benue people's health from being endangered from the quality of drugs you are patronizing from these major places?
Okay, thank you very much. No, I think what I've said is the members of the Association of Community Pharmacists of Nigeria, ACPN, who are also members, or let's say a sub of Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria. As I've said several times, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria have an association of community pharmacists. It has Association of Pharmacists in administration and hospital. It have those in academia, importers, and all the other arms. So what we encourage them is the patronizing the legal and recognized system. Every company that wants their products in states and hospitals across the country have what we call medical representatives and sales representatives. We call them sales rep, med rep. For instance, if we have a Nathaniel Pharmaceuticals, we can have a rep, that is the representative of Nathaniel Pharmaceuticals in Benue. In certain instances, the person might be covering Benue State and Nasarawa State, Taraba, the adjoining states. So we encourage people, and even the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria also encourage us to buy from such people and keep your receipt. By so doing, when there is a challenge, it is easy for a recall. There are times that, think about 6 years ago, 7 years ago, There are times that the NAFDAC wrote a letter. They communicate with our association once in a while that so chairman, but one of the ESCO. So Mr. Ikper, the man that was in charge that time, he assured us that it is the company that have notified NAFDAC that there is an error in production. That after a while, if it's kept on shelf, that it will have came to our places seized. The company did a replacement for those that submitted. So you see, so we encourage people to buy from the company directly through their sales and medical reps. Then from time to time, an average pharmacist is deeply and vastly trained. The knowledge is given is beyond the drugs, the component of the drug, the process of manufacturing the drug, the use of the drug, the effects on the body, in the body, and also the storage condition, the identification of adulteration and a fake product. So you have those basic knowledge, even though at certain level you might be needing a laboratory test, which that is where we collaborate with NAFDAC almost on a weekly basis. The association relay with NAFDAC. NAFDAC will just come up, they have done their research, they will notify us. The only thing they don't tell us when they are going for their raid, which we, at the level of the Council of Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, they encourage that, because sometimes, we are human beings. By the time you tell me, as a council member, that these people are going on raid, I may have a friend or a neighbor, a village person. So the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria is doing a lot, and we're also encouraging government. In the program I was here sometime last year, I told you about how we have been agitating for the Benue State government trying to have a centralized drug distribution system, which, as of the last time, the House of Assembly have passed the law for the establishment of Benue State Drug and Commodity Management Agency. By having the drug management agency, virtually every drug that come into the state come through the management agency. And if you are buying directly from a company, there is little or no chances for the fakers to bring in their own, because you can as well walk to the dispensing point or the pharmacies and ask them, where is your receipt? Because as part of requirement by the Drug Inspection Committee, which I'm a member under, and the PCN and the DPS and other critical stakeholders, we come to your place, we would like to know how you get your drug, you bring your receipt, we see whether you are getting from the right channel. As pharmacists and members of the PIC, we don't encourage the purchase of a drug from open market. What we tell the open market, I think one is in Aba area market or something. We have in Kano, the Kano have been controlled. Last year, it was one of the biggest breakthrough for the PCN, NAFDAC, and the one in Onitsha, Anambra State. So we are praying, we are appealing to the government to expedite action, to sign into law. If they have signed it, well, I'm just hearing, I'm not so sure. But if they have signed it into law, they should set up the agency. I think that will be the purview of the Benue State governor. Several states, I think about 11 states, have set up their drug management agency. So it will aid the establishment of a centralized medical store and the drug distribution system, where everybody that will be in need of drugs in the state, we assess it. By so doing, pharmacists that are on the board and probably practicing there, who are trained on the storage condition, can guarantee the quality of drug given out from the by the drug management agency. So, our colleague on the state government, the assembly have passed, because we are privileged to have one of our members, Honorable Thomas Dugero, who is a pharmacist, and in the House of Assembly, and we are reliably informed that the House of Assembly have done their own. The onus is on the governor of the Benue State. I know he's very busy, but we're appealing to him to expedite action and set it up, because Benue State is not existing in isolation, meaning that if there are fake drugs in Lagos, and drug move like human being, any place a vehicle can go, drug can also go. So if there are fake drugs in Lagos, fake drugs in Aba, fake drugs in Onitsha, fake drugs in Kano, we cannot guarantee that they will not infiltrate to Benue State. And the way these fakers do, they do everything possible, subjectively, to make the drug look like the real drug. It is when you go into objective analysis, that you begin to know. And the materials for analyzing these things are not easily available in all the states and in all the pharmacy outlets. So you need the collaboration of NAFDAC and all the agencies responsible to know. So one of the easiest way to tackle this thing and let this thing not eat into the fabrics of the state is for the state government to expedite action and complete what he has started. I know about two years ago when they were commissioning Vinca Pharmaceutical industry, he made it clear that they are going to establish, he was working on setting a bill to establish a drug commodity management agency, which we had passed through the first two weeks. To expedite action and set it. It will help NAFDAC in their work, to help PCN in their work. We that are the receiving end, it will also help us to know that yes, with 100% assurances, that this drug that we're getting, they are genuine. And in the long run, to help Benue citizens. Because even as pharmacists, my organoleptic property, my eye, my what I feel, what I see, what I perceive, cannot directly tell me that this drug is fake, except you have to go to the lab. And the lab is owned by NAFDAC people. So the state government, doing that, we're going to eradicate a problem over 60%, where we have a centralized drug distribution system. Because the Pharmacy Council already made a law and they have started regulating those that distribute the drugs, those that sell. We are all pharmacists in the state are regulated by them, given license by them, the pharmacist, the pharmacy premises. And they also have the power to regulate the medical reps and the sales rep. So if the government make their own arrangement by setting up those commodities, the guidelines are there, headed by pharmacists on the board, because these pharmacists are believed to know much about it. It will go a long way to protecting the health of our people, keeping them away from the potential risk of the use of adulterated and fake drugs.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Now, Pharmacist Nyigba, you are the Benue State Officer of Pharmacy Council of Nigeria. Give us an understanding into what the council is doing in collaboration with agencies like NAFDAC, as well as the sales and medical reps, which the PSN chairman has explained. Your role in preventing fake and substandard drugs to saturate Benue drug market.
PCN at the national level has a task force on enforcement that regularly goes to states to close down premises that are operating illegally or involved in the sale of substandard and fake medicines, because what we say is selling fake and substandard medicines, and they have been in the media all these years. Then at the state level, PCN has set up what we call the Pharmaceutical Inspection Committee. It is headed by the Director of Pharmaceutical Services in each state of the Federation, and the PIC is composed of pharmaceutical inspectors that are credible, honest, and currently licensed with the PCN. So what the PICs do is that state to inspect all premises where drugs are being found, and this includes the pharmacy premises, the patent medicine shops, even the dispensaries, to be sure that they are practicing ethically and they are selling all their medicines have the NAFDAC registration number, and when they have the right to observe the medicines, and when they suspect, the law empowers them, when they suspect that a medicine is likely to be fake or substandard, to take such samples and send them to NAFDAC for analysis. The law, the Pharmacy Act, also empowers these inspectors to close down these unregistered shops, and we have been doing that in the state. When they are closed down, they come and they are informed of whatever infraction they have committed, and they write down undertakings to resolve the issues. Now, the law also says that such medicines, when seized, are forfeited to the Honorable Minister for Health. In the course of carrying out inspections, PCN has a checklist, and like the PSN chairman said, it is required that all medicines should be bought from PCN registered premises, and that is why we ask for their receipts. The receipts, and when we scrutinize those receipts, we know whether the receipts are from registered pharmacy premises across the length and breadth of Nigeria, or if they are from the open drug market. So PCN encourages, we carry out regular trainings for pharmacists, the orientation, and then regular trainings even for the patent medicine vendors, that's their orientation programs and continuing education programs, where we train them on how to properly source their medicines, how to store them, the storage conditions. And I also want to lend my voice to what the PSN chairman said. The PCN wrote all the states of the federation on the need for them to set up state drug distribution centers or drug management agencies. More than 17 states have established their drug management agencies. We want to call on our governor to give assent to the bill setting up the drug management agency in Benue State, because a survey was actually carried out in the state in 2023, and we asked all the pharmacy premises and patent medicine shops in the state that if there is a state drug management agency, would they be willing to source their medicines? And more than 99% said they were willing to buy their medicines directly from the state drug management agency when it is set up, and it will be an assured source of quality medicines. So that is what we are doing. And in the course of our inspections, we discovered mostly that these fakers actually target far-off local governments, to sell these substandard medicines. Why they take advantage of the ignorance of people over there. And these medicines too are more affordable. And so poverty is also an issue where these people buy these medicines because they are cheap. And at the end of the day, they suffer the consequences of, the taking fake and substandard medicines. Thank you.
Okay. Now, Mr. Ikper, give us an understanding of the kind of drugs that are across the 23 local government areas of Benue State to safeguard the public health of our people.
Drugs. Most of these drugs that are obtainable in substandard form are drugs that are key to health, that are patronized mostly by hospitals, drugs that are expensive, like anti-malaria drugs. You have antibiotics. You have antihypertensive drugs. You have anti-diabetic drugs, and the rest of them. There are so many of them. And most of these drugs, pharmacies, I guess, they are not drugs on the counter.
Prescription drugs.
These are prescription drugs. They are not drugs on the counter. And most of them are very expensive drugs. Drugs, people that fake drugs cannot go into faking drugs that you will have problem distributing them or problem selling them. They sample those drugs of concern to humanity that they can sell easily. Those are the drugs that they prefer to go into faking them. And I want to add a little to what Pharmacist Ali talk about recall of drugs sometimes. That they were asked to bring back Pharmacist Ali, what was the drugs? What was the drugs you mentioned?
That was grape water.
Oh, grape water. That's right. So you oftenly notice that kind of a thing. Why is it in practice? At the point of GMP inspection, there are standards, there are documents plus your process of recall in case there is a problem in the market with your drugs. And how we dig down to the root of it is that why the drugs are in the market, we still go to the market to buy and carry on a study on them. We don't just stop at inspecting them. We carry on study on them to ensure their quality while they are in the market. So when we discover that it has a problem, maybe by a way of storage, it was not stored properly, there are issues and some other conditions that made them to go bad. Maybe at the source of production they were good, but in the course of distribution and storage, some kind of factors are factored out of the major main distribution system, they get bad. So when we discover such a thing, we liaise with the company and we tell them, please recall your drugs. They are not, it's not your fault. Of course, maybe it's the fault of people that are assigned the duty of distributing them or storing them, that kind of a thing. So that is it. I'll also talk about having a facility in the state for major drugs distribution. I remember sometimes November last year, the MD of Benue State Teaching Hospital invited us for a program. And what they are doing through the state government is that they want to have a facility, a drugs facility at the hospital that will be sourcing drugs from the producers, the companies themselves, not from the marketers, not from the distributors, but from the company themselves. And how did they do it? They employ the services of one of our retired directors who is in Abuja. They employ the services since he was in the system and knows the system very well. They employ his services to use him to connect onto people out there and onto companies out there that produce drugs. And the reason is this: there are some drugs here in the state and even at the hospital where they need them that they cannot get them within the state, and even some nearby states, they find it very difficult in getting them. So he presented a proposal to the governor, and the governor approved it. If you go to Boko Road by the teaching hospital, just at the gate, slightly after the gate, you see a giant structure standing by the left-hand side as you are going to Boko. That is the drugs facility for the teaching hospital. And I think they are almost completing the project. Very soon they will complete the project. And by the plan, as soon as the building is completed, already contact has been made. I remember at the program, some major distributors of drugs in Nigeria from Lagos and some other states were invited. I was part of the program. And they agree with the MD that they are behind him and they will give him 100% support to give him the quality drugs from the companies of his interest and the quantity he needs.
Now,
so I remember
very well.
Okay.
Sorry to cut in, but the issue of the example of teaching hospitals is just a one-off case. You are mentioning.
Yeah.
Let's look at the health of the people, Benue people across the 23 local government areas in the state. With this faking of drugs, substandard ones getting more saturated, what is NAFDAC doing to prevent these drugs from getting to the end users across the 23 local government areas?
Actually, our work is not just in Makurdi. Even though our office is situated in Makurdi, we do not just confine our work in Makurdi. We work in the 23 local governments of the state. Last week, our itinerary for the week was we work in Zakibiam. A team was in Zakibiam last week, Thursday, and the work they did was major survey of pharmaceutical shops that are obtainable in that local government and PMS. Even though they were not able to go to interior villages, but I feel working in Zakibiam as a local government headquarters, I'm sure people who are outside, who are in interim villages might be using Zakibiam as a center to obtain their drugs. So I feel if we get it right in Zakibiam, we'll be getting it right in villages as well. And that is how it is in other local government. Another team was in Otupo. That was on Wednesday. They were in Otupo. And they went to PMS and pharmaceutical shops as well within the local government, in the local government headquarters to check. They did not just stop in Otupo. I think they went to Ubadibo thereabout after they did the work in Otupo. They extend their visit to Ubadibo to also carry on a check and ensure that what is obtainable in those places is acceptable by NAFDAC.
Okay, now, Pharmacist Ali, your members, I keep referring to your members because you are the chairman of the society. So your members, what are you doing with regards to preventing these fake drugs getting into major pharmaceutical outlets in the state so as to not to endanger public health? And what are the kind of drugs, from your experience with your members, that are majorly counterfeited?
Okay, thank you very much. There's no specificity to say on drugs that can be counterfeited or the ones that can be faked, because there are categories of fake drug. You can see, you talk of counterfeit. Those ones just look like they were deliberately made to look like the original without containing what is in the original. You also have adulterated ones. Those ones, the quality have been tampered with. You have substandard. Those ones, they do not meet up with the agreeable standard. Somebody is doing paracetamol, for instance. Most paracetamol, except a few ones, have 500 milligrams. Only if you want to have 1,000 grams, that's for the tablet. But the substandard one probably will have 360 milligrams, meaning that when you take two, as an adult, that should give you the effect of bringing the paresthesia, that is high rising body temperature or killing the pains. It will not do it because it's below standard. So there are another one can complete counterfeit. You just get chalk. What is it called? They used to tell us chalk. When we were in pharmaceutical, it looked like chalk.
Yes.
White. The thing looked like paracetamol, strong and everything. It doesn't even contain anything. That look like that is counterfeit. You can say substandard. Maybe, you can say adulterated. Now they add other things that there are excipient. There are other things that should be inside that are not inside. Maybe it's not even real paracetamol. Maybe something else. So, in solving this problem, is a faking. It's a significant public health concern, a matter of very significant public health concern. That anybody in the public, from all the professionals, these two people here, the regulators, the people listening to us, the users, the caregivers, the government. That's why if you see anything I come here, I talk, I always mention His Excellency, Reverend Father I sent earlier, and his government and the other people. Because I'm mentioning that because I'm the state branch, I'm the Benue State branch chairman. So it's my own government. Tinubu is up there, the government or our national president.
Yes.
So it should concern each and every one of us. You know why? There are times, the governor may he not fall sick, but then he's a human being. If he falls sick, he can afford even an air ambulance to go to Germany or anywhere. But sometime before you are flown to Germany, or between here and Germany or Australia, wherever you go and take the first class medical attention, which is a common thing with the bourgeois.
In fact, for us, we are not even concerned about.
No, I'm making a statement.
We are concerned with that local person in Obadibo, the local person in Chowanye.
As pharmacists, there's no special training for the executive or for the big man, the small man.
Yes.
To us, every human being, a madman, is the same thing. I'm sorry to say that. The knowledge of pharmacy you have is a human being. The anatomy of human being, the physiology is the same thing.
Yes.
So that's why I'm making references for emphasis sake. So now, between when you are living here and going to where you want to receive first class treatment, you need some treatment. Imagine somebody give you, just to calm down the pain, give you a pentazocine. The nurses have administered pentazocine, and it does not contain pentazocine. It's labeled pentazocine 30 milligram. They give you 2 ampoules, 60 milligram, which should be able to quell any pains for at least an upward of 8 hours, which in 8 hours should have flown to wherever you are going. They give you what does not contain pentazocine or contain maybe 10 milligram of pentazocine, that's 20 milligram. It will not work. So why am I saying this thing? It is a matter of public health concern that leaves nobody. Nobody is free from it. So I am calling on government again, because government is the ultimate, if we want to tell ourselves the truth. I'm calling on government. For instance, I doubt, I have no fact on it, but I have strong suspicion that the NAFDAC office in Benue does not have up to 10 functional vehicles. 10. If they have 10, I'll be shocked. But
no, just one.
Okay, you can hear from him now.
One.
How can you use one Hilux or one pickup? Probably the Hilux have been bought for over 15 years.
No. Anyway, it has been bought recently.
Oh, recently, okay, good.
Hilux.
Okay. How can you use one Hilux? You know, I'm not speaking for now. I'm speaking as chairman of pharmacy who is concerned about the danger of this thing. How can you use one Hilux to go to Apa, to go to Agatu, to go to Bajimba, to go to the other local government across the river, to go to Tupu and Obadibu and be effective? How many days? If you are taking five days in a year, 5 times 23. So the government must come to their aid. The Pharmacy Council of Nigeria can reliably say that they have no official vehicle. Most of the functions done is by this woman. She uses her personal vehicle to run these things. And supposing we were at Guma local government, I went with my car for PIC work. They wanted to set my car ablaze. So the government must come to their aid, helping NAFDAC, helping Pharmacy Council, helping the PIC, Pharmaceutical Inspectorate Committee. It's not helping the heads. It's not helping the organization. It's helping the end users. You see why I'm making analogy between the governor and the common man on the street that you always like making reference to.
Anyway,
let me round up, please.
Yeah, your society, for instance, have the capacity to, and these are federal agencies. PCN, Pharmacy Council, is a federal agency. NAFDAC is a federal agency. Yours is an association of professionals. You may have the capacity to take care of yourself, but speak to us in specific. What the question is, what you are doing to prevent these fake and substandard drugs from saturating your shops, so that the health of the common people, especially in our rural communities, is not endangered.
Okay, number one, we have contributed copiously,
yes, to
the drafting of the bill, which have been passed by assembly, which we are begging the governor to ascend and set up the management agency, the drug and drug commodity management agency, Benue State Drug and Drug Commodity Management, so that we'll join the other 18 states in the federation that have done, so that we'll be the 19th. So we're appealing to the government. When the government does that, if that is done, the agencies, by the law that have been enacted, it is by the act. I think if as soon as the governor signs, it becomes law.
Yes.
It is composed of very sound, well-experienced pharmacists who will regulate the drugs that come into the state. Supposing that is done, BSO doesn't really need what they are doing. You understand, but that is by the way. That's number one. Then number two, we encourage our members to buy products from pharmaceutical companies. And the pharmaceutical companies, if the drug and drug management agency is established, the pharmaceutical company will be using them as their hub. They might not need a warehousing facility. And the government still have a role, serious role. And pharmacists, we as pharmacists, we encourage the PCN in their job. Sometimes they go out, of course they go with us. I mean, as the chairman of Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, I'm an automatic member. I'm the deputy chairman of the PIC, which is responsible for inspection and regulating the drugs and the practice in the state. So the government must come to their aid, because when the original is available and everybody knows it's available, even the fakers will not have where to keep their items. But when there is not available, they have written a particular drug for you, you go around the whole pharmacies, you don't see. The only place you see, you don't even care whether it's NAFDAC compliant or it's fake. So the government must come to the aid. The pharmaceutical sector have been so neglected by government at all levels, particularly in the state here. So they should come to our aid to support those people regulating us. If those people regulating us are strengthened, who are strengthened?
Okay. Now, pharmacist Nyigba, you give us an understanding. This is not addressing your challenges anyway, but your co-panelists made mention of maybe not having vehicle. Is it as a result of operational challenges that the war against fake and substandard drugs in the country and maybe in Benue seem not to be won from the point of view of Pharmacy Council of Nigeria?
The Pharmacy Council of Nigeria usually supports the state PICs financially to carry out inspections, but it would greatly help and improve inspections in the state if the government of the day provides vehicles for us. This has been done in some other states. However, we are so appreciative of Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia. He has done so many great strides in infrastructural development, education.
Anyway, let's stay on the pharmacy.
Yes, and
that
is why we're asking to also support
we'll bring those
health.
in government to talk about that one.
No, that's why we are thanking for the one he has done for other people.
Yes.
You want to say let the attention also come to pharmacy.
Yes,
Okay.
we will greatly appreciate the support, sir. And I also want to thank the management of Agate Radio for this opportunity to enlighten our stakeholders. We, like I said, we train our pharmacists on how to identify and also source and stock these quality medicines. This morning, I crave your indulgence to still reach out to our listeners on how to identify this fake, the manufacturer's name and the manufacturer's address is on it. It shouldn't, if it's not there, then you begin to suspect. And then the name of the product. For example, we all know the spelling of paracetamol. So when you want to buy paracetamol, you should make sure that the name, and not just the name, the strength is there. These are important factors. And then you also look out for the NAFDAC registration number. Every product that is registered and standard must have a NAFDAC registration number. Then you look out for the manufacturing date and expiring date. You look out for the batch number or lot number. Then you look out for the packaging and the labeling. The Nigerian government has mandated that every product that is sold in Nigeria should be written in English. When you begin to see a product that is not written in English, then you know that it is not meant for the Nigerian market and it is likely to be fake. And then if there are spelling mistakes, these are all pointers. You look at the packaging, it should be neat and clean. The bottle should not be broken. And then the medicine itself, for the syrups, they should not be caked, that is sticking together. The tablets should not be discolored or easily break when you look at it. There should be no spotting. There are some products, because of the poor storage conditions, will actually have black marks on it, which tells you that the product has a problem. Sometimes it may be unusual odor. And if it is a suspension, it should be clear. There should be no particles inside. The top of the bottle should be tightly sealed. If it is broken, then you likely know that the product has a problem. Then NAFDAC requires that every product, some should have, that scratching panel. We have discovered that some fake medicines, when you scratch that panel, you cannot see any number underneath. It shows that product is likely to be fake. And then, of course, when you get to a premises where you want to buy medicines from, PCN requires that every licensed premises should have a license, whether the pharmacy premises or the patent medicine shop. Everyone has a license. So when you don't see a license, these are likely sources of contaminate particular price, and then you go somewhere and they are selling it at a ridiculously cheap price, then there is a challenge. Don't patronize all those local markets where they put mats on the ground and pile medicines as if they are commodities of ventilation, distance. This is just a guide for you to identify fake or substandard medicines. Thank you.
All right. So
I want to add to what she has just said.
That will be after this break, because we are due to start engaging with the listener. But I will allow you some words afterwards. Let's take some break. Welcome back from that short break, dear listener. If you are just joining us, the program is Perspectives on iGate Radio 95.5 Star FM Makudi. We are discussing the scourge of fake and substandard drugs in the country. And you can call in on the number 0814-335-9292. The number, once again, is 0814-335-9292. Once you connect with us, we would like to know your full name and where you are calling in from, and you make your submission. Kindly keep it very brief. The SMS line is 0912-699-9404. Remember to include your full name and location where you're sending your message from. Good morning and welcome to Perspectives.
Good morning, Nat.
Thank you for joining us.
This is the voice of Mark Kanwangbele, at the Great Local Government.
All right.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank the guests in the studio. They have all spoken well. I think the issue of fake drugs in our country here in Nigeria particularly, I think the NAFDAC have the master plan of checking it and monitoring it. And when there is no monitoring, there will be no evaluation. For the NAFDAC, I think the patients going for their drugs in their pharmacies, they won't have the expert experience to detect. Although the awareness here on radio, I think it will help some others that are listening to radio. But the NAFDAC have the master plan of checking the fake drugs. So they should do their effort by making sure that they end this issue of fake drugs in our pharmacies. So from the masses, I'm appealing to the masses that every time you are going to a drug, you should make sure that you inform the doctors, because taking the medicine without the instruction of the doctor is rather a drug abuse. So for we, the masses, to detect fake drugs, I think it's based on known experience that it will be difficult for us to detect. But as they are saying, my question to them, some drugs that if you go to buy it, I noticed this when I go to one pharmacy to buy a drug, and I discovered that the same manufacture date, the particular drug was carrying 2 badges of manufacture date. So one was older than the other one. So I was confused, and personally I cautioned the pharmacist there. So for me, I think at that point, I'm also confused. Make them clear for all why a particular drug will have the two manufacturer badges there. And the other one, those drugs that are being counted, hello?
Yeah. Speak on, you are on.
Yeah, so those some drugs are not packed in the sachet. How will the patient know that it is fake or not fake? I would like to be clear. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, NAFDAC should step up, and we're having a concern already, but we'll speak to it. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Welcome to Perspectives.
Good morning, Nathaniel.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, I want to greet all the guests in the studio.
Thank you. Let's know your name and where you're calling from.
Okay, my name is again from Ikper, Nongu East Local Government.
Okay.
Yes, I want to first of all appreciate the boss taken by NAFDAC so far in this country recently for impounding fake and substandard drugs in some parts of the country. I want to urge both the Standard Organization of Nigeria, the Pharmaceutical Association, and NAFDAC to continue to arrest and prosecute those importing, producing, distributing, and selling these substandard drugs in the country so as to serve as deterrent to others. I believe if that is done, it will reduce the health hazards of our people and continue to improve the health condition of our citizenry for a better Nigeria. Thank you very much. Once again, my name is Theophilus again.
Thank you, Theophilus. Okay. NAFDAC, commendation for you. We hope you should do more and collaborate with the Standards Organization as requested by Theophilus again. The number to call in 0814-335-9292. The SMS line is 0912-699-9404. Hello, good morning. Hello. Okay, we lost connection with you. Okay, sometimes the network may appear to have a glitch repeatedly, but the line is still available. You can phone in. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
I'm the Nathaniel from Chiangu, local government of Benue State.
Thank you, sir.
Once more, I will say good morning to the people who are just in the house.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The topic you have brought today is really lovely because drugs is one of the substantial things that keep life going. I said, if you prefer the freshness of it, I think we are affecting our lives. So the 3 points I want to make there are like this. There's need for the doctor and the pharmacist. There's need synergy in terms of considering which drugs to order for the people. If it is done like that, I think the idea of free drugs will be minimized. Again, to the NAFDAC, which is the chief body of the analyzing the drugs now, they should actually bring closer to go closer to the people who manufacture drugs in terms of checking, monitoring, and doing whatever happens. But before I will refer back to what is killing the system in Nigeria now is money, desire for money. So all these things I'm mentioning now, if they are not properly done, money will just truncate the whole system. So let us just bury the idea of getting rich overnight. In as much as even if the drugs are supplied, there are some people who want to build their pharmacies, build their partner medicine stores. So my appeal to Nigerians, if you want to curtail things that are supposed to be humanly in nature, it's like we should fall blind about money. So I think we will go away. Thank you.
Thank you. That heard about other authorities. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Nathaniel.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, this is Agatha Paul at the back of Baptist High School at Chusa.
All right, go ahead, Paul.
I really want to commend the guests in the studio. They have spoken well. I remember the pharmacists make mention of in Benue here, they don't have a live store for it in their house. I was doing their job very well. So that day I was in a pharmacy to buy medicine, and a short while the pharmacist, the man in the store answered a call, and they told him that they are on their way towards the high level side. And dropping the call, he started selecting some drugs. He picked some of the drugs, poured them in the cotton, and then opened another door inside his shop and hide them behind. And I now relaxed inside the shop to see what is happening. For a short time, I saw NAFDAC officers now walk inside. They only searched on the surface of the shop and they've forgotten to check inside. So now I discovered these people are dealing with fake drugs, that anytime they got information that NAFDAC officers are coming for inspection, they move all those fake drugs sharply and then hide them behind the building. And that kind of ugly situation is going on in the state. About coming out for inspection, they give them information. So I want the NAFDAC people to sit up by checking those things. Sometimes let them come out without not informing anybody. Maybe if they're moving out and in their office they sign that they are going either in North Bank, let them take raid in high level, so that the person they are giving them information will not know the particular place they are going.
Okay.
And thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you, sir.
Well, that's an allegation of sharp practices, but when we come back, we'll allow you both to respond to that, whether it is true you members do that. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for joining us on Perspectives.
Good morning, Nathaniel, and the guests in the house.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm Brother Emeka calling from Welfare Portal.
All right, go ahead, Emeka.
Okay, so to me, we are being assaulted and assailed by different types of crimes in our day and time: kidnapping, banditry, terrorism, yahoo. But to me, this fake drug of routine is a high crime against humanity. I'm saying that because if an hour that comes, he may likely kill me or not. Yahoo boy can, but this one, you're using your money to buy your death. It's such a horrible crime. But in my own submission, my own perspective is that when you put all these things together, it's a symptom of a society whose morale has broken down completely. So even because the agencies that have been put in place to regulate these things, you may still have one or two bad things that will compromise their conscience and join hands in instead of being moderators, they are actually accomplices in this. So, in my own opinion, the best way to solve this problem is to, sensitize people's conscience. Is that do unto others what you wish them to do unto you. Even the people that are taking those drugs, if you take that drug and give them, they won't take it. So they know that what they are doing is wrong. But if their conscience are not pricked to realize that constantly, they will continue to do this, because no amount of agencies and laws we put in place, as long as the human mind is bent on evil, it will find a loophole to circumvent it.
Okay.
So let the families take up their responsibilities. Let the religious organizations take up the responsibilities of conscientizing people.
All right. Thank you. Emeka, thank you for calling in. We appreciate you. Okay. Emeka says, anyway, but if we hello. Okay, you are on, but your voice is not coming through. The line is still available. If you are not able to connect to the line, simply send us an SMS to 0912-699-9404. Good morning and welcome to Perspectives. Hello.
My name is Matthew calling from Makodi.
Your name is who?
Matthew.
Matthew who?
Matthew Ede.
Okay, which part of Makodi, Matthew Ede, are you? Okay, go ahead, Matthew.
I thought that the major problem we're having in this country is corruption. That is the major problem we have in this country. People are emphasis only on drugs. What of building materials? What of electrical parts? Building materials all over the city now.
Hello, Matthew Ede. For today, our focus is on fake and substandard drugs, and our panelists are also in the area of drugs. So maybe when we focus on that aspect of building materials, if you want to talk about it, but your contribution, if it is in line with drugs, let's have it.
Okay. My advice now is that let the NAFDAC sit off. Let them do the right thing. Just as one man said there, that some of them are having some pharmacies shop number. When they are going out, they will call them and inform them, which is very, very wrong. Once you left the shop, they will bring out the fake one at that time. So those people that are giving them information, NAFDAC should give them, free them out. So that's my own advice.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Matthew. Okay. So what Matthew is concerned that there are other things that are fake. For today, we'll focus on drugs. Maybe another day we can discuss other ones too. Misbehave, but we'll continue to try. The line is still available, 0814-335-9292. Good morning. Hello. Okay, I think let's stay temporarily on the course and come back, since the network wouldn't allow us to speak to more people. Let's try one more time. Okay. Now, Ms. Ikper, you were itching to add something on components of what makes a drug a fake one, or qualities or features to identify when pharmacist Nyigba identified some. Comment on that, then we'll...
Conscientizing or educating the masses on what they need to do to establish the quality of drugs. NAFDAC have taken this battle to some level. We have a platform that is registered by NAFDAC. Once you have an Android phone or a laptop and you have access to data, you can Google onto NAPAM's login. So on NAPAM's login, there is a provision for check of product. Check of product. You of the product. Just pick it and pick one Pharm to come in plastic bottle. But the one we picked while we were doing survey in shop was the bottle. I don't mean plastic bottle, I mean bottle. Glass bottle, sorry, thank you. Glass bottle. So when I got back to the office, what I did was that I picked the number on the glass bottle of the Pharm and I googled on NAPAMS. The information I got from NAPAMS was absolutely different from the information that was obtainable on the Pharm. It's very simple. Anybody can have access to NAPAMS. So it's a platform that is created by NAFDAC to help us. Even drugs dealers, you want to establish that drugs is of quality while at the point of buying. It's very simple. Pick the NAFDAC registration number of the drugs and Google it, key into NAPAMS and check. The information will be displayed for you to ascertain whether they are genuine or not genuine. The pharmacist talked about mass, but she was just brief. It is also simple. This is done using a cell phone. You just scratch, get the number. There is a code also on the lift. I mean, on the package of the drugs. Get the number, key into your phone, and dial. Once you dial, you will be given an SMS to ascertain or confirm the genuinity of the product. So these are being done to ease the masses to have access to the quality of drugs. Very simple.
Okay.
It's not difficult. Very simple. Can I also comment on what they have just talked about, the allegations about people giving...
Yes, I was going to come to that. So let's have your thoughts. Is it true that your members, NAFDAC, is collaborating?
No.
This is just at this micro level. So if you are doing that, we can imagine what is happening on the large scale of the major busting of this
Let me clarify it for them to understand better. One, we use a Hilux, a white Hilux, carrying federal government number, and on the plate number you have NAFDAC. These people, we have regulated them over and over and over and over, and they know our vehicle. So once we are out for work, we go to one shop. We enter in one shop. The first shop we enter will be the one communicating with the rest of them. They are in union. And they have their numbers exchanged. So I doubt so much that a NAFDAC staff who is employed by government and abides to ethics, the job have ethics. It's not that you are just employed to come and work. There are ethics that each and every one NAFDAC staff follow. If you don't do that, severally the DG have sacked some of our staff. It's not as if you are employed and you work without what do you call it?
Guidelines.
Without guidance. No, it's not like that. There are guardians to the work, and everybody abides to it. If you go out of it, you are sacked out of the job. We have never received an official report from any member of the society coming to officially tell us that this is what our staff have done. We are waiting for that. If they have people, if they know people that are involved in such an act, we are open to them. We are open to receive complaints. We have complaints forms. You come to our office, we give you a form. If you cannot put it in writing, come, we give you a form. You fill. Tell us exactly what you had or what you have seen happen, and we take up actions. That kind of a thing.
Okay. Now, Pharmacist Ali, yes, this is not a one-way allegation. Your society, members of the PSN are also involved, and double allegation. Apart from the one we heard from the caller, the NAFDAC official has also alleged that once the inspection team is out, your members call others to circumvent the process of checking. Tell us why you do this.
I think the question is tell you whether we do it, not why.
No, but the NAFDAC person just said so.
It's an allegation. It's an open allegation. It's free because he doesn't know why it's coming. And he said if it's coming, it could be like this.
Okay.
I'm the chairman, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, Benue State branch. Just 2 weeks ago, NAFDAC came to my outlet. Why did I say I'm the chairman? For you to know that if there's anybody in NAFDAC, the people that came, two of their staff are my members. If you're a pharmacist, whether a NAFDAC or a lecturer, you are my member. And they came to my place. And when they did their work, I asked what are they looking for. They said they are looking for a batch of particular product. Some of this work is not all that is problem. A good number of NAFDAC work is good work. Sorry, I'm using the word good work. That doesn't mean there's a bad work. But when they come and they have to seal the premise, people consider it to be bad work. I've given an instance of where they came to grape water, 146 bottles. They say it has not spoiled, but that particular batch, the company told them that if the thing stays for a certain number of months, it will have problem. And it has not expired, and it has NAFDAC number, and they retrieved. My own was 146 bottles, and they paid us later. So that people will call people, I cannot, in all honesty, with every sense of...
Yeah, but you listen to one of the callers, Paul Agatausu. His was a practical example, alleging with practical example that he was in that pharmacy, and once a call came in, the pharmacy official or whoever it was took drugs and went into hiding. Is it true?
No, I wouldn't. I'm just being honest here.
Yes.
I wouldn't say whether it's true or these are possibilities. It's possible. That's the outlet. A lot of people don't know the difference between a pharmacy outlet and a patent medicine outlet. So in any case, it's possible because people in Nigeria, just like the way he said, if they left their vehicle, with their vehicle and enter somebody's outlet, there's a tendency that if the person have a close friend at International Market Road, maybe they have gone to high level, you will inform them. These are possibilities. But our target is putting emphasis on everybody getting NAFDAC registration product. And there's a window in NAFDAC. There's what we call orphan products. That is, these are products that are established, that they are functional, they work, they are needed for clinical use. And none of the molecules registered by NAFDAC. I have cases on 3 occasions that are written letter to the DG. I've written letter 3 times for us to supply. I wrote for my boss where I was working before I came to Makurdi. When you have your products registered, whether they say you see a white Hilux that look like they are Hilux, you're unperturbed because you know that if they come highest, you talk and you have your handshake. They'll check your fridge, whether the fridge is working. They say okay, it's not working. Get a solar panel. You explain to them why you're not getting solar. They will encourage you. That is how we do the work. 2 weeks ago, they were in my pharmacy outlet with, if I think Mrs. Ari or somebody who is a pharmacist. They came to my outlet. Nobody informed me. So if there's something racketing like that in pharmacy, I should be privileged to know as a chairman. I know their boss. I know everybody in the office. We work as a team. So
anyway, Pharmacist Ali, when you go back, check amongst your members, because this is not the first time we're having this allegation. But that's okay. Let's engage with more people. On the
Good
program.
morning.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Nathan. Good morning, guests in the house.
Thank you.
My name is Tefa Epic. I'm calling from KN Kano, northwest part of Nigeria this morning.
Okay, Tefa, okay, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing this critical topic on radio. The level of which fake drugs has been enrolled in our country is becoming alarming. I wonder whether federal Ministry of Health, some operators some manufacture of those drugs, they give them license. I did not know, but this thing has to be curtailed. Most of the times, people consume drugs which are not meant for consumption, and people used to buy drugs. Sometimes the expiring date, they are not written on it. I wonder why whether NAFDAC, they are collaborating with Federal Ministry of Health to curtail all these fake drugs. To me, this is a wake-up call. The traditional institutions have to play a role. The security agencies, not only the police, all the security, the assistant security agents have to try by all means to curtail this thing. Most of the times, if you go to buy a drug, you cannot see the label, the manufacturer date, the expiring date. They will just see it in some container or some wrapped sheet. And this thing is causing a lot of problems. If federal government and the state government and local government and the traditional institution, the clergy, if they can come together and reduce this thing, I think we have a bare minimum. That is my take this morning.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. Okay.
It's my pleasure. Have a nice day.
Great day too. Appreciate it. 0814-335-9292. The SMS line is 0912-699-9404. Now, pharmacist Nyigba, right, just a moment before I come back to you. Good morning. Hello. Oh, lost connection with that caller. Now, pharmacists as shops. Does your council regulate or check in collaboration? I'm sure that most of from the reports I read in the course of researching for this program, most of the pounded trucks.
Like we earlier mentioned, if someone has interest in importing medicines, the person now they will go to the NAFDAC products. NAFDAC could send their inspectors to the country where the medicines, the facility where the medicines are to be imported from, and assess that those medicines are being manufactured according to specifications. Then PCN's role is that we inspect and license the premises where medicines are to be stored after they are imported. But we had earlier on said that we have open drug markets. So it is actually very possible for PCN to inspect an importation premises, and at the point of entry into Nigeria, these medicines, including the substandard ones, if you listen to the program earlier, the NAFDAC representative said sometimes some persons will present the original to you and then include the fake. So at the point of entry into the country, these substandard and fake medicines will be diverted to the open drug markets. And so even when PCN goes to inspect those importation premises, they will not find anything wanting there. Already the products have been imported and diverted to the open drug market. I also want to use this opportunity to address a question that someone raised earlier, that he went to buy a product and discovered that the inner packaging and the outer packaging had different manufacturing dates. We have what we call donated medicines. These are medicines that people from other countries will decide to donate to our country, Nigeria, as a means of assisting us. and they could be anti-malarials, they could be HIV medicines. Now, these medicines are sent to different states, to the central medical stores. From the central medical stores, they are now sent to all the government health facilities across the state. Unfortunately, some of our health workers will, sell these donated medicines to the open drug market. And these medicines that are donated come in bulk, large packages. So when they are sent to the open drug markets, and those in turn have to sell in smaller quantities. So the open drug marketers will now manufacture different packaging, as in the packaging, and that is why you find out that the manufacturing date will be different from. But like I also said, we enlighten the pharmacists, we enlighten the patent medicine vendors not to buy drugs from people, we call them hawkers, who will give you these medicines at subsidized cost without receipts. And in fact, the State Ministry of Health usually finds such pharmacies or patent medicine vendors who sell these donated medicines. There is even a letter to that effect from the Federal Ministry of Health that anyone found selling donated medicine should be arrested and prosecuted. Again, someone spoke about better collaboration between pharmacists and doctors in the hospitals. We have a national standard drug treatment guidelines, which every facility or hospital is supposed to follow. We also have the national drug list that supposed to set up what we call a drug formulary, which contains a list of medicines that are to be in that hospital. So it is expected that the pharmacists will work with the doctors in that facility to prescribe medicines, standard medicines in that facility, so that people will not have to go out to source for medicines from sources that they may end up getting substandard drugs. So thank you.
All right, let's take some messages before we come back. This one says, good morning, presenter and the guests in the studio. Corruption is a major thing hindering the curbing of fake drugs. For example, so many shops don't open whenever there is a check operation of fake drugs. And I wonder how they know. I have witnessed this severally in my place, Naka, West local government. Also, the level of drug abuse I have witnessed in the villages and towns now is alarming and needs attention. They are openly smoking and selling Indian hemp everywhere in the villages. I'm Ikper Davishima J from New GRA Makudi. Okay, Ikper, thank you for your message. This one says, I want to urge NAFDAC, Standards Organization of Nigerian Pharmaceutical Association, to continue to arrest and prosecute offenders to serve as deterrent to others. Theophilus Abem from Ikper. Okay, Theophilus, thank you. You called in earlier too. This one says, good morning, Mr. Nathaniel and your guests in the house. I am Kanti Michael from Gado Villa, Makudi. The trend of fake drugs in Nigeria is on the alarming side, and the agencies in charge of monitoring and effecting some arrests are in some cases in alliance with those companies and shops dealing with fake drugs for their benefits. My advice is that the agencies in charge should do more to minimize the trend of fake drugs in Nigeria. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much, Michael, for your message. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Nathaniel, and the two guests in the studio, the Agate Radio. I am Sunday Omerenyi from the Benue State University.
Okay, good to have you join us, sir.
Yeah, I just want another radio that they always complain they have only one vehicle. And I want to solicit that the NAFDAC personalities in Benue State or in the other states, if only every state have one vehicle, is very poor for the operations of the NAFDAC one. Now they should write to their DG, or when they have the management meeting, they should be able to complain, and then more vehicles should be given unto them for their operations. And secondly, it depends on how many staff they have in the Benue State. I'm not asking them to tell me how many staff, but the more staff you have, if you don't have the vehicle, How do you go on the operations to get these people work? And if you have a must-have, and the federal government are not giving you the mobility to work, why don't you meet with the governors of the state? Like my governor in this state, if you meet him and give him some complaint, there are 8 ways that he can assist. And I want to believe that those will help the operations of the NAFDAC and the pharmaceutical company in Benue State. I want to believe that every pharmacist in Benue State have a registered. And for them to say they have a fake drug or they don't get information when the NAFDAC are going, they do get information. I'm very want to believe that, because a lot of people have been complaining, and we have witnessed that in some of the shops of the pharmacies we go. So I want them to do more. I know they are trying, but I want them to do more. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunday Merengi. We appreciate you for calling in. Anyway, for logistics, anyway, it's advice you have given. Otherwise, NAFDAC should know what to do. If they lack the logistics, because they have one vehicle, they should know what to do already. But that's okay. It's your advice is well noted. 0814-335-9292. The SMS line is 0912-699-9404. Okay. Pharmacy, Moses Ikpe, sorry. Just a moment.
Yeah.
Hello, good morning. Hello. Okay, we lost connection with the caller. Now, we're worried about importation of drugs. You earlier on you sent to Nigeria, imported to Nigeria. Check the manufacturing GMP. You use the term GMP, good manufacturing practices. If this GMP is adhered to, why is it that we still keep having fake and substandard drugs being imported into the country and they are intercepted by your agency?
See, the truth is this. Humanity will always resist the truth. Humanity, once they know that not by going on the truth we pay them, we always want to take that path. NAFDAC is doing her best to see that the quality of drugs that comes into Nigeria is ascertained. During the COVID time, that we were not traveling because of COVID, we had to liaise with these major countries that supply us drugs to Nigeria. We work in collaboration with their regulatory bodies in their country of origin, and some laboratories in those areas, they were doing the work, the analysis for us, and sending us information. That was how we were using to clear some of those products during the COVID. So NAFDAC is doing everything possible to see that the quality of drugs is at those steps. I can assure you, even here in Benue, our relationship with the governor of the state is yielding much fruit. Recently, the governor of the state have allocated a land to us. The Director General of NAFDAC wants to build a laboratory in Benue, in Makode, that will serve North Central Zone. This is in the pipeline. It's not something I'm supposed to break here, but since we are creating that awareness before people and giving them assurance, at least I just want to break it. They have allocated the land for us. Any moment from now, we'll go ahead and start building a lab that will serve North Central Zone. NAFDAC have no lab in North Central. The lab we have is in Kaduna. Kaduna serves Northwest and North Central Zone. And the volume of work they have in that lab is much. So the DG now have decided that he will establish a lab in North Central, which Makode is choosing as a center for the lab. We appreciate the governor so much for the land allocated to us. And as Oliver Twist, we always ask for more from him. I'm sure if he's not on the radio, most people are out there listening to us that we pass the information to him. We earnestly ask for support from him for a vehicle, if not vehicles, at least one in addition to the one we have. This work is for the benefit of Benue people. Government at the federal level have taken us the task to save people of Benue by bringing NAFDAC office to Benue to serve Benue people. That is not enough. If federal government cannot do everything to see that NAFDAC is put on a good page to work in Benue, the state government can come in to assist us. So I'm appealing, if they can provide a HELOCs for us that will enable us cover more places in Benue to ensure that our work, the impact of our work is felt in Benue, we really appreciate him for that.
Okay, now, Pharmacist Ali, in the midst of all this, the health of the people, the public health of the, give us on the health of the citizens, but that will be after this engagement, briefly. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Nathaniel. Good morning to your guests in the studio.
Thank you.
I am and I commend their effort very well. No human beings by nature are very recalcitrant. But what I want to suggest is, if somebody was saying anytime they are going to a station, it's like the medicine dealers and the rest are informed before time. I'm suggesting that anytime they are going to a station, when they don't announce it, they disguise as potential buyers. And I bet you they are residents of these pharmacy shops that are selling things. That's my advice. If they go there, disguise as potential buyers, and they will see a lot of fake drugs so that they can fill up all these services that are selling debt to us instead of places. Thank you very much.
They're selling debt instead of medicine.
Yes.
Okay, Sunday Ikper, thank you. We appreciate you. That's the last call we will take on the program. Taking from that, Sunday said they're selling debts instead of medicine. Comment on the health implications, many of them as we have, resulting from fake and substandard drugs.
Of course, number one is prolongation of ailment. Because if you are taking, you are supposed to take a standard drug for a treatment and you're taking a fake one, the ailment will not go and leads to poisoning, because what you are taking, you don't even know it. So, and leading to organ damage. If you notice in recent times, there's a lot of issue of kidney failure, liver failure, and all those things. All drugs are detoxified by the liver. What is put into calculation in formulation of drug, they know the toxic effect and all those things. So when you take a fake drug, there's a tendency for you to have the damages being done to your major organs. Then the economic effect. Of course, if you have bought a drug for any amount to treat and it's a fake drug, the entire amount used in buying that drug, in addition to the time spent in taking the drug, is a waste. That is an economic loss. Then put fear on people and create a negative ripple effect on those that are doing the right thing. And for somebody that gets the drug in Makodi and is not working and is ascertained that it's fake, person have tendency to assume that everybody within that is that it leads to resistance, development of resistance, because when you are given the substandard adulterated or fake drug, the organisms, this is common in anti-infectious drugs, antibiotics, antiviral, antifungal, antimicrobial. It allows the organisms that you are supposed to be treating to be subjected to sublethal dose. What I mean by sublethal dose, the standard dose is expected to be lethal to the pathogens causing the organism. But when you give the fake one or the substandard dose, it allows the development of resistance. I mean, the resistance is there. You take more drugs or higher form of drugs to curb the situation. And the more you are taking the drugs, the more toxicity sets in. As toxicity sets in, there will be damage to the major organs that have things to do with the drug. So it's a chain. The negative effect is leaving nothing untouched. It touches every angle. And that is why we, as pharmacists, will encourage how these things will stop. We encourage the government and people of this environment to see how they can also go into manufacturing. Because when you are doing local manufacturing, most of the fake drugs are the imported ones. The ones that are doing the local manufacturing, NAFDAC can just breeze in and then at any time they are aware. The NAFDAC doesn't need a visa to go and supervise them, unlike the one they are manufacturing in other countries. And the government should also look for a way. People trying to cut corners, either to meet up with needs that they cannot do without. You understand? So I'm also advocating another way to it. This may not sound clear to so many people. The level of, let me say, economic harassment by tax people and the things that are not necessary, that are common people. People may be tempted to go into it to meet up. So I'm advocating that if the government should create a time so that all the stakeholders, NAFDAC, even drug law, because today is not about them, that's why I didn't mention it, but wow, in the same sector, the Pharmacists Council, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, NAFDAC, Director of Pharmaceutical Services, all the people that have doings with drug to meet in a round table. There was, before now, we have been attending a certain meeting of such.
Yes.
With in the office of the Secretary to the Government of Federation. Sorry, Secretary to the
State government.
State government, SSG, right? Yes. But I wouldn't say it's not effective because you come to the meeting, there seems there's weak commitment from them. Let the government be committed and bring all the drug and healthcare stakeholders together so that we sit in a round table and find a workable way out of this mess. It's quite a mess.
Okay.
And it's eating deep into the fabrics of the society.
Okay, our time is totally up, but pharmacist Nyigba, let me give you just 30 seconds to give your concluding words. And of course, NAFDAC DG recently advocated death penalty for fake drug peddlers. Comment on that briefly. That should be your concluding thoughts. Pharmacist Nyigba.
Thank you. Before I go on, I want to say that there was a trending video recently concerning a lady who was arrested by the authorities abroad. I don't know which country. She was speaking on the phone with her husband. She needed to get some medicines and she called it drugs, because over there the term drugs refers to hard drugs. So I want to reorient us on the need to call it medicines rather than drugs. Then in the course of this interaction, I've discovered that there's a mistaken identity by the public concerning pharmacists and patent medicine vendors. The pharmacist spends 5 years in the university and comes out with a Bachelor of Pharmacy. If it's 7 years, he comes out with Doctor of Pharmacy. And after that training program, they take an oath before they're sworn in as pharmacists. And PCN has what we call an investigating panel and disciplinary tribunal. So I assure you that a pharmacist will think twice before selling fake and substandard medicines. Now, the other category is the patent medicine vendor, and the minimum for having a patent medicine shop is SSC, and this was because there are few pharmacies to serve the needs of the populace across the 23 local governments. In fact, currently now we have pharmacies only in 4 local governments of the state. The rest are populated by patent medicine vendors, and they have an approved drug list, and antibiotics are not included in that list, as well as controlled medicines. So most times when PCN, and that is another issue too, PCN is often mistaken for NAFDAC. When PCN is on enforcement and these patent medicine vendors are aware that we are coming, they scramble to hide these antibiotics that they are selling. And so if you are an interested party and you see them hiding those medicines, you will think that they are hiding substandard medicine, but they are actually hiding medicines that they are not supposed to sell.
All right. Okay, let me allow you land on that because we do not have time. Moses Ikper, just 30 seconds of your concluding thoughts. 30 seconds, no more than that.
want the government at the federal, I suggest to the government at the federal level to bring in laws that are stringent. I remember in 2017 we were in India for inspection of two pharmaceutical companies. So while we were returning at the airport, by sighting us from afar, the immigration officers of India were just looking at us with every suspicion that, once you see a Nigerian in outside country, you are tagged as one who is a criminal, that kind of a thing. It was until they cleared us that we became friendly. So I am appealing to government to bring in stringent law as regard drugs faking.
All right.
So that people that are involved in it will be punished. By the time you kill 2-3 persons, I'm telling you, the rest that are at the background will just shy away from it.
So you support your
DG
for the death penalty?
DG for the death penalty of people faking drugs.
Anyway, we'll discuss more about that. The penalty itself would be a topic for another discussion, maybe some other day. Let me appreciate our panelists on the program today. We focused on the scourge of fake and substandard drugs in the country. Moses Ikper is the second in command of the NAFDAC Benue State office. We appreciate you for coming on Perspectives.
Thank you.
Pharmacist Ben Ali is a Benue State chairman of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria. We appreciate your time, Pharmacist Ali.
Thank you very much.
And the lady pharmacist with us on the program, she is a Benue State officer of the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria, Pharmacist Hawa Nyigba. Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much.
Dear listener, that's our program today. I Get Radio care about your health and the public health of citizens. That is why we are focused on this. Join us Wednesday for another edition of Perspectives. I am Nathaniel Nongu. Have a great week ahead and stay safe.